Alright, so in this video we are replacing flex pipe on a 90s model S10 2.2 liter 5-speed. New flex pipe, 2-bolt flange goes in the manifold, 3-bolt flange to the cat. Shoots all the trash. I just recently bought the truck and it became my yard truck. Now I'm going to sell it, so I'm going to clean it up, get it right before I deliver it to the guy. So, to begin with, soak everything with PB Blaster. Let me say gloves. So the top two, they're really hard to see, but from this angle, they're really hard to see. They're right below, they're right behind the knuckle, or the steering shaft. So the best way to get to those, at least the outside one, take the wheel off. Yes, I have it on ramps. I also have it sitting on a jack with a jack stand under the cross member. The ramps just make it a little quicker to get it up. So you got a bolt here, and there's one on the back side. You may be able to get to it from here. I'm going to take the back side out from underneath. I feel like they're a little quicker to get to that way. A couple extensions, lots of PB Blaster, and yeah. So they're both half-inch. These are both half-inch bolts. Usually a pain in the ass. What I would suggest is soak them with some PB Blaster, then put a little heat in them by starting the motor, let it run for a few minutes. Not to the point that it's so hot that you can't work on it, but definitely put some heat in them. It'll soak up the PB Blaster a little better, and they'll expand a little better. Should make it a little easier to get them out. So yeah, I'm using half-inch ratchet, kind of small ratchet, because I can't find my good one. Impact sockets. I took the wheel off with proper sockets and a proper impact, and we will to be continued. So I got it broke loose. This side, I already crawled under and broke the other side loose. It's already backed out. I'm only a third of the way. This one, once I got it broke loose, I put a ratchet box wrench on it. There we go. Put a little light on that. Obviously soaked in PB Blaster. So yeah, put a ratchet box on it. A little extension here. Old school trick. Be careful with that. It will bust your knuckles. It does not feel good. So yeah, we're slowly backing it out. And yeah, once I get it out, I will show you what it looks like with it disconnected. Alright, so I got the front side out. Or outside, I guess it would be. Front, outside, whatever. That one is out. Okay, so I'm working on the back one. See, my thumb's pointing at that socket. That's the bolt. So, there's a couple ways to do this. You can come up from the bottom. For this one, it's gonna require a swivel. I would suggest wrapping it in electrical tape so it doesn't swivel completely and flop around on you. I think they make some now that don't flop anyway. And then on the back, you just need a straight, like 2 10-inch extensions, 8-inch, whatever they are. Or you can come in, like I've got my hand now, crammed in between the fender well and the upper control arm, and back it out that way. I have obviously gotten most of it out because it is pretty loose, and anybody who's ever done one of these before knows. See how red those get from the heat? They can be a pain in the ass to get out. So, never too much PB Blaster. Soak them. Makes life a lot easier. So, to the bottom we go. Alright, so, one, a little fan helps tremendously. One, because it's muggy as hell because I live in North Carolina and it's probably going to rain soon. Two, because PB Blaster in small areas can get pretty pokey. So, alright, bottom flange. This piece that I'm replacing starts up there. There's your flex from before. Comes down, drops across the bottom side of the bell housing, His back connects to the front of the cat. Again, soak them in PB plaster. Somebody has already had problems with this one or been headed up before or something, because two of these studs, or what would be studs, are actually bolts, which is not factory. It should be that round stud like that one. So, you got them loose. I wish I would have showed you beforehand. Be super careful breaking these loose, because if you break that stud, they're a pain to push out, especially on the vehicle. Usually you have to take that flange out too, that one back there, so you can take and press those studs out, or you can take your chances with beating them out with a hammer. It's not fun. It's doable. It's not fun. So yeah, break them loose. Got that one loose. I put a box ratchet. Things are lifesavers on the back side, because yet somebody has broken that one too. So it is now a 3-bolt. So yeah, take those out. Once you get those out, drop them down, and then your whole piece will snake out from up top. Alright, everything's broke loose. Got the 2 through bolts that somebody has replaced out. Luckily that stud didn't spin or break loose. If they spin, they're a pain in the ass. You gotta get a vice grip or something on them. It sucks anyway. Oh yeah, and pardon my language, I'm not the cleanest mouth man you'll ever meet, but it is what it is. So, anyway, those are out. Now we gotta snake it out from up there. So, try not to beat yourself in the forehead with a piece of exhaust pipe, because it doesn't feel good, but work that loose. That's another thing. I'm glad I was down here for that. That gasket is probably reusable, but it's like a $3 gasket. Replace it. Because if you don't, 6 months from now, it's going to leak, and you're going to be like, damn, I should have replaced that gasket. So, there's one here, and then there's another one up top. So, yeah, we're going to try to twist that back toward, and yeah. So, twist the back section back toward the back of the truck. That way, twist it, and then the top should drop out. And that's what you're left with. I'm guessing there's not a gasket in there, unless it's stuck to the flange up there. Yeah, that's probably what that is. So yeah, that's what's the remainder of the gasket. And there's your pretty O2 sensor. It doesn't matter, because this is a 97. And in the state of North Carolina, you don't have to pass emissions anything 20 years or older. So yeah, it definitely has an oil leak. All that wet stuff is not oil, that is PB and oil. So it's not like sopping wet. It's not like pouring oil out of the remain or anything. But yeah, so now to go back in with it. So we'll put some fresh gaskets on. I might put a dab of gasket maker on there just to hold it on while I get it up there, and then we'll throw the new one back in and fire her up, see what she sounds like. Alright, so yeah, like I said, that's probably the old gasket. Get in here so you can see that a little better. Peel it off. That way you got a pretty fresh surface to adhere to. I would suggest either putting just a touch, like a small tiny bead of RTV, high temp obviously, around the inside edge of this, just barely around here, and it wouldn't hurt to go outside too, just to make sure that it seals to the manifold. It'll also make it a lot easier to hold it up there while you're trying to get the new part back in. Just a little old school trick that some old heads taught me back in the day. It is a glue, so it'll hold things temporarily at least. So yeah, and then once you get it kind of stuck up there, get your new piece spun up where you need it, kind of get a bolt started in it, or get these 2 bolts started in it, and then go down to the bottom while you still have these loose and wiggle it in. That way you got some play in it and it's not so rigid. Make it a lot easier to get them in on the bottom. Once you get them all in and started, Then you can tighten the bottom up, come back up here, tighten the top up, and you shouldn't have any problems. So, all right. So originally I said start at the top, but that didn't work. It's really, really, really hard to hold the piece of pipe up and start those 2 bolts. So what I did is I got it pretty much close to where I need it. Come down here, went in and put my gasket in, started my 3 bottom bolts. Now I'll go up and start the top, and then once I get those started and starting to turn back in, I'm going to come back down here and try to find some flat washers to put on those, because those are about the same size as that hole, and I don't want them working through that hole eventually. So yeah, just a little probably unnecessary precaution, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. And this truck's going to a buddy of mine, so I don't want him to have any problems with it. Not that I would want anybody else to have any, but you know, I'm just trying to do things right the first time so you don't have to do them again in 6 months. Alright, so got the top started, gaskets in. They have a little bitty flange on those, I guess, to guide it up into the manifold, but it doesn't do a very good job of holding the gasket on there. What I did was I held the flange up with my left hand, started that bolt with my right hand, and then basically the same thing here. Held this flange up while I got that bolt started. Once I got them both started and got enough tension on them where I know they're not going to fall out, then I will tighten them up. You got the top all cinched up nice and tight. They don't have to be like ungodly tight, but you need to be pretty tight, because you are mounted to the motor. Motor vibrates, things come loose, and with all the PV blaster that's on them, it'll probably take them a couple days to reseat. Now, we're gonna tighten those up. Oh, so much better. She runs better too. She had a bad skip. Still got a little skip, and nowhere near as bad as it was. So yeah, the exhaust sound is actually coming. We're back to the truck now. Job well done. I'm gonna go give myself a cookie. So yeah, there she is. That's what 187,000 miles looks like. So yeah, till the next one, guys. In Forest. This is I don't know what we're gonna call these yet. I'll figure out some name yet. Y'all leave some names in the comments. I'm sure I'll get some troll will say some dumb shit, but it is what it is. I don't hear haters. It is what it is. So yeah, leave me some names in the comments, and if I choose one of your names, maybe I don't know, send you an Amazon gift card or something. So yeah, like, subscribe, just keep it moving. I'll be making more of these as time goes on, and I don't know, who knows what's next. Probably going to be repairing the manifolds and that. So yeah, see y'all soon.